You're listening to the Everything Jewish 10 Minutes at a Time podcast, where you'll learn about every Jewish topic imaginable in about 10 minutes. And as always, I apologize for all of my Hebrew pronunciation. I know I'm going to pronounce Hebrew words wrong, so instead of getting annoyed, I give you permission to laugh at how I say things. Today's topic is Judaism and conversion. So what does it mean to convert to Judaism? Is it like downloading a new app and agreeing to the terms and conditions? Except this time, the fine print is 3,000 years of tradition, commandments, and community. In some ways, yes. Conversion is about stepping into a covenant, the same one the Jewish people entered into at Mount Sinai. But unlike signing up for Netflix, there's no free trial, and you can't just cancel with a click. It's more like joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Except you don't just watch the movies, you live inside the story. And every decision ties you into a giant web of history and meaning. Now, if you think becoming Jewish is like pressing a convert button online, think again. Judaism takes conversion very seriously. In fact, rabbis usually start by trying to talk people out of it. Imagine telling your gym you'd like a membership, and instead of signing you up, the trainer says, "Are you sure? It's hard work. You'll sweat, you'll ache, you'll regret leg day." But if you keep showing up and insisting you want in, then the doors slowly open. The idea is that choosing Judaism should be genuine, not impulsive. It's not about adding another identity like stacking trading cards. It's about becoming part of a people and a story, one that is ancient, challenging, and incredibly beautiful. If you still say yes after all the pushback, that's a good sign you're doing it for the right reasons. So what actually happens? The process is a bit different depending on which branch of Judaism you're talking about, but there are some classic steps. First, there's learning. Lots and lots of learning. You're basically enrolling in Jewish Hogwarts. Except instead of spells, you're memorizing holidays, traditions, prayers, and history. You'll learn why Passover isn't just about matzah, why lighting Shabbat candles feels like a spiritual exclamation point at the end of the week, and why bagels are delicious but not actually central to Jewish law. Rabbis guide you, answer your questions, and make sure you understand both the religious commandments and the cultural rhythms. It's not about cramming for a test. It's about showing you're ready to live Jewishly every day, not just on holidays or when it's convenient. Then comes commitment. For men, that traditionally involves circumcision. If you're already circumcised, there's a symbolic ritual with a drop of blood called Hatafat Dam Brit. It's not as scary as it sounds, though definitely more awkward than downloading TikTok. Women don't have that step, but both men and women share the next one. Immersion in the mikvah, the ritual bath. Picture this as the ultimate spiritual reset button. You dunk fully under the water, come up, and bam! You're officially Jewish. No fanfare, no confetti cannons, but a huge shift in identity. This moment is both intimate and cosmic. It's you saying, "I'm part of this people, this covenant, this story." From there, you're counted in everything Jewish. Holidays, life cycle events, the works. It's a powerful, humbling, and transformative act. Culturally, conversion is like moving into a house that's been lived in for thousands of years. The furniture is ancient, the traditions are deep, and there are rules about how to handle everything from the kitchen to the calendar. But here's the thing. You're not a guest. Once you've converted, you're as Jewish as Moses, Ruth, or your neighbor who's been Jewish since birth. Judaism doesn't do second-class membership cards. Ruth, who famously said, "Your people will be my people," is considered the ultimate example of conversion, and she's the great-grandmother of King David. If a Moabite woman from the Bible can end up in the royal family tree, then you see just how central and honored converts can be. The Talmud even says converts are especially beloved because they chose Judaism freely, without being born into it. Of course, like anything Jewish, there are debates. Orthodox Judaism requires a very rigorous process and adherence to Jewish law. Conservative Judaism is also thorough, but has slightly different expectations. Reform Judaism focuses more on commitment to Jewish life and less on strict halakhic requirements. So depending on which community you're in, the road might look a little different. It's kind of like different fandoms. Hardcore Trekkies will insist you need to know the entire Klingon dictionary to be taken seriously, while casual fans are happy if you just watched a few episodes. Still, in every branch, sincerity is key. You can't fake it. Rabbis are good at spotting if someone is just there for marriage, convenience, or because they think the food is awesome. Speaking of marriage, let's be real. A lot of people start thinking about conversion because of relationships. It's the classic rom-com setup. Boy meets girl, girl is Jewish, boy wants to marry girl, cue dramatic montage of rabbinical study, Hebrew lessons, and awkward family dinners. And you know what? That's fine. Many people begin the journey for love but stay for something much bigger. The relationship might light the spark, but the Jewish journey fuels the fire. And honestly, that's very Jewish. Think about Abraham and Sarah starting a whole nation out of a single household. Relationships and community are at the heart of this tradition. As long as you're serious about joining the people, it doesn't matter what brought you to the door. Now, here's something people often ask. Once you convert, do you have to tell people? The answer is no. Jewish law says a convert is simply Jewish. Full stop. You don't have to walk around saying, "Hi, I'm Dave. Nice to meet you. By the way, I converted." If you want to share your story, great. If not, also great. The community is supposed to treat you like you've always been there. In fact, the Torah repeats multiple times the command to love the convert. It's one of the most repeated commandments, actually. Why? Because the Jewish people know what it's like to be strangers, to be outsiders, to not belong. So we're reminded to never let someone else feel like that. Converts are supposed to feel at home. And once you're in forever. Of course, living Jewishly after conversion isn't always easy. Imagine suddenly adopting a whole new operating system, like switching from Windows to Mac, except your family and friends are still on Windows, and they keep sending you files you can't open. There are new rhythms, like Shabbat, where you power down in a world that never stops buzzing. There are holidays that sneak up on you, like Sukkot, where suddenly you're building a hut in your backyard and explaining to neighbors why you're eating dinner outside when the weather is freezing. But here's the secret. The strangeness eventually becomes second nature. Soon you're the one explaining Hanukkah to coworkers or hosting a Passover Seder like a pro. It's not about perfection. It's about connection, community, and joy. So to wrap this up, conversion to Judaism is a journey of learning, commitment, and identity. It's not quick, it's not casual, but it's deeply meaningful. You're not just adding a religion. You're joining a people, a culture, a story that stretches across millennia. And when you emerge from the mikvah, dripping wet and a little nervous, you're stepping into that story with both feet. It's scary, yes, but also exhilarating, like starting a new level in a video game where you suddenly realize you're part of something epic. And that's Judaism. Messy, challenging, joyful, ancient, and alive. Thanks for hanging out with me for these 10 minutes. May your bagels be warm, your challah be fluffy, and your journey, whatever it is, be filled with meaning and laughter.